Welcome back to Master Glass, everybody. By popular demand is Mr. Bobby G yet again. You guys seem to love him, so I will continue to bring him in. He is going to make us a drink today of his creation. If you like rum, and if you like Aperol, and if you like watermelon, well, you're going to really enjoy this one. It's called the Watermelon Bliss. So what you got for us today?
Well, you know, being summertime, you know, and the melons are coming in, and watermelon is such a great ingredient to work with, especially for the home bartender. When you want to have a party, we're going to take this. I'm going to make one single cocktail today, but show you a really fun way of using watermelon at home.
Love it.
I really like these small watermelons. We, of course, use bigger ones, which you're going to see where a bigger one will come into play. But these smaller seedless watermelon is what you want to get. Now, most people are going to take a watermelon. You're going to cut both ends off, cut the peel all the way off, chop it up, and use it like that. What we're going to do today is, what I did here is I looked for a nice flat spot, so it seems to fit nice. It sits really nice here. So now I'm going to take the watermelon, turn it up on end, and I'm going to cut about 1/3 of it off. You know, this is half, so I want to come this way just a little bit, and I want to make one slice all the way down. Just take that top right off. And there you can see that beautiful watermelon. We're going to save this for our garnish. We'll make a garnish out of that later.
It's a pretty big garnish.
Yeah, well, we'll make more than one. That's a good point. So now you see we got this nice little watermelon here that we can work out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a baller, a melon baller, and I'm going to start making some balls of melon. You see that nice little turn? We'll just set those over here, and this is going to be our working melon. We could also garnish with this if we like, but in this case, this is going to be my working melon. Some tongs here, pop that out. And you want to keep them nice and tight. And a melon baller is so easy to use. You can see the edges on it are not razor sharp, but they're sharp enough to go into the melon because it's a softer type of fruit. And you just simply turn it. And you get the beautiful melon. So what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way across the top, just to give you an idea of how many melon balls that we can get out of one melon. So what we do, as we go through and we take all of these, we'll set this here, and we're going to be using these in our cocktail. They come out nice. Now, what will happen? Oh, we lost one there. That happens all the time. What we do is once we get done with this first layer, a great tool to use is a julep strainer. And you take that julep strainer, which I have one right here, and you see we scoop with that, and we get the melon back down
to the next level.
Love it. Now we can also use this for muddling or pureeing. Is that how you say pureeing? Pureeing. Okay. Just toss this in your blender, puree that up, and get a nice juice or puree of watermelon.
Very nice.
Now, the reason I wanted to show you this, because what you could do is hollow this watermelon all the way out and pour your cocktail in here and use the watermelon like a punch bowl.
Got it.
It's a fun way of using it.
Now, when you do that, how deep in can you go to, you know, you have this level that's green, then it gets white, then it gets pink, and then it gets more red. At what point can I scrape without really being concerned that the drink itself will penetrate through? And
that's a great question. When you're balling, you don't want to get into the white. You don't want any white on your balls. You want to stay into the melon. Once you get all of that out, then you want to use your julep strainer to scrape it down to the white.
Gotcha.
Okay. And that will be your punch bowl. And then, of course, when you do that, you can go back on the rim and, you know, put a little wavy edge on it. Decorate it. Make it look pretty. It's there. It's the centerpiece of your party.
Love it.
So we're finished with this, and we'll set that over here.
Let's do that.
And now we're going to go ahead and make our cocktail.
Okay.
So what I'd like you to do is just put some ice in. Well, I've got that ice over here. This will be my shaking ice. I want to get a nice chill on my mixing tin.
Okay.
And these beautiful European style ice scoop here.
Yes.
I don't work it as well as you do, but it is.
I've had it for 25 years, and I swear by it.
It's awesome. It's
such
really great to use, especially with that type of ice. All right, we're going to start off this cocktail by using our watermelon.
Okay.
We're going to drop in, let's call it 6 pieces. We'll put 6 pieces of our fresh watermelon balls
into
our mixing glass, and we're going to muddle.
Okay.
And remember, when we're muddling, I'd like you to think about muddling from the elbow, not the wrist. Because if you muddle from the wrist, you have that tendency you want to pull back. But from the elbow, you know, the muddler goes in the palm of your hand. You reach down, and it's a nice press and twist.
Love it.
I love this food grade style. You know, this food grade plastic is very easy to maintain. All you need to do is wash it with soap and water and you're done, right? We give it a nice press. You see, when you're muddling anything, you want to grasp the glass by the base so you can hold it nice and steady and just press and twist. And you see that we're extracting all of that beautiful juice from the watermelon. So now I'm going to add my lemon sour.
Okay.
Now, a lemon sour is something that we can make ahead.
Okay.
All it is lemon juice and simple syrup. And of course, all simple syrup is sugar and water. You don't need to boil it. Just add 1 part sugar and then pour 1 part hot water over the top of that sugar and stir it. It will dissolve. No need to bring it to a boil and all that stuff.
Yes.
So you grab me a lemon there.
Any one you want, Bobby?
That one looks good.
Okay. There you
Okay.
go. Pick that one just for you.
Thank you. So with the lemon, what we're going to do is we're going to do what we call clipping the ends. So we take the tip and the stem off, because that could have some off bitter flavors.
Gotcha.
It'll also give us a nice flat spot to press on with our citrus press. So we're going to cut this in half through the equator.
Love it.
And rather than me making a sour mix ahead of time, I'm just going to make it right in my glass.
Got it.
So I am
So
going to
fresh
start,
sour directly in the bus.
Sure. The juice of 1 whole lemon, we generally say is 1.5 to 2 ounces of juice. So we kind of work on a feel because we've done it quite a bit. For those of you at home, you may want to measure. That's perfectly okay. And what I like to do is I like 2 parts lemon juice, 1 part simple syrup.
Okay.
Because if you're going to err somewhere, you want to err on the side of being too tart, not too sweet.
Got it.
Because if it's too tart, I can always add some more simple syrup to it. If it's too sweet, I can't take any sugar out.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood.
So I'm going to add 1 part of simple syrup.
Okay. So would you say that lemon gave you 2 ounces or a little less?
I think that one was right about 1 ounce and 3/4.
1 ounce and 3/4. So therefore,
It was a little over 3/4 of an ounce, just under 1 ounce. With that.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Now I want to add bring some nice depth to this cocktail. And I know one of your favorite Italian aperitifs is Aperol.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful flavor. It's not as bitter as its cousin Campari. So it brings a nice element to this cocktail and really balances out the sweetness of the watermelon. And to this, I'm going to add 1 part or 3/4 of an ounce in this case.
Okay.
And as you know, I work for Beam Suntory. And one of the great products in our portfolio is Cruzan rum, coming from St. Croix. This is our Cruzan aged light rum. It's an average of 1 to 3 year old rums that are blended together. Then they get filtered through charcoal, but not strip filtered. As you can see, I hope it shows on the camera. For those of you at home, go and find it in your local liquor store or grocery store and look at the color. It's what we call Chardonnay. There's a little bit of color in there. And that tells me it's not completely stripped all the flavor out. I've left a lot of flavor in here. And I'm going to add 1.5 ounces of our Cruzan aged light rum.
Which is also for 45 milliliters.
45 milliliters. Thank you very much. I need that translation. You know, I haven't figured. You know how we were when we were given the metric system when I was in school. We did it for a while, and then everyone said, "It's too hard for that." If you can, I know we got some crushed ice over there.
Yep.
Fill that about 3/4 of the way.
Got it.
And the reason we don't want to fill it all the way up is because we're going to top it with soda. And that's going to knock the ice down. Then we're going to refill it with ice to bring it back up.
Gotcha. So we're going to let it go down and then fill it up again.
Now, because we were talking and explaining everything, there's going to be some meltage with our ice. So we want to drain out any of that excess water. You can see how much came out with that. And then we're going to go ahead and pour into our mixing tin and then give that a nice whack.
Okay.
That's how I was always taught. So now we're going to shake this cocktail. And what's important, there's a lot of different ways of shaking. There's no one right way. However, there's some wrong ways, you know. You're just bouncing it around. You're not really doing anything.
Yep.
So at home, when you're thinking about shaking a cocktail, what you want to do is make sure everything hits both ends. But we don't want to rock it. We want to shake it. And I always have 2 things that I always do when I shake a cocktail. Shake it hard and shake it with a smile.
I love it. I love it.
And so now we've got our cocktail nice and mixed up. Now, because we have that watermelon in there, we want to capture that pulp. We don't want that in our drink. So I'm going to do what's called double straining.
Got it.
I have a Hawthorne strainer on my mixing tin, and I have a fine mesh strainer. So I'm going to hold the fine mesh strainer over our glass, and I'm going to pour my cocktail into there. And I'm only going to bring it up to here because we want this cocktail to be fresh and bubbly.
Mm-hmm.
So, Livia, I'd like you to show all the people at home how to use the soda siphon.
Well, it's very difficult. It has this thing called a lever. You just push it, but you do it very carefully. No ice first, correct?
Correct. You're just going to top to there.
All righty, there you go.
All right. That looks great. I don't think we need to add any more ice to it.
Looks good to me.
However, when we do put a carbonated beverage on top, we want to get those bubbles distributed all through the cocktail.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That way, when the bubbles come up, they're bringing all the aromatics of the cocktail with us. So to do that, we don't want to stir really hard. All we want to do is take our bar spoon and push the bubbles to the bottom and give it one little turn and then bring that out.
Yeah, awesome. I'm happy you said that, Bobby. That's one of my pet peeves. I see it often at bars. I see it also on YouTube shows where they say, oh, no, don't worry about it. The bubbles will miraculously mix the drink perfectly on their own. They won't. They never will. The spoon or the swizzle stick or whatever it is actually mixes it to perfection, not the bubbles.
Absolutely. Now, there's two ways that we could garnish this cocktail. We could take one of these beautiful watermelon balls that we did earlier, actually make a cut and put that on the rim.
Okay.
Or remember that third of the watermelon that we cut the top off? What we're going to do is we're going to put that face side down, the cut side down on our board, and then we're going to start at the end. We'll take that end part off,
Okay.
and then we'll cut that little half moon slice there. Now, we could go ahead and cut that all the way through, but what we'll do here is we'll cut this just like a pie and make these little triangles
Oh, I see.
of watermelon,
Okay.
and then because watermelon is soft, but we put a little starter in there, and we just put that watermelon right on the rim. That brings the eye up. Anybody seeing that sees, ooh, that must be a watermelon drink,
Yes.
right?
And it's
then-
tropical and fresh, and I'm going to dig it.
And we want a little more aromatic. So you've often seen this thing that bartenders do called spanking the mints.
Mm-hmm.
They put the mint in their hand, they spank it with their other hand to open up the aromatics of that mint. It does a great job of doing that. But think about this. What's the sweatiest part of your hand?
The palm.
The palm. So you're going to put that garnish that I might be putting in my mouth in your sweaty palm and smacking it with your other sweaty palm. So I've come up with this method. Your fingertips don't sweat.
Mm-hmm.
So if we grasp that mint sprig by the sprig and we just spank it along the rim, turn the glass, we're actually putting some mint oil right on the rim, and you can smell the fragrance of the mint coming up. And then we just turn and mount that right on the top next to our melon. And there you have a beautiful Watermelon Bliss.
I love
Give that a try.
Oh, you bet I will. Watermelon Bliss.
I got it.
It's okay. Oh my goodness. Actually, the little leaf of the nose went up my nostril as I was drinking it. So I had this really amazing mint aroma. I had this great, refreshing watermelon rum, retronasal, whatever. And this was amazing. Really good drink, nice, tart, refreshing. It's a big drink, but it's very sessionable. And because it's so easy to drink so light, you can actually have a couple of these and not feel so overwhelmed, or big syrupy sugar drinks, which I do not like. So this was amazing.
And a hot day by the pool. Anytime you're by a pool, a rum drink is a great one. And Cruzan makes a great rum.
It sure does. It sure does. Well, if you like this episode, please hit like, subscribe, and come back to Master Glass for more expert instruction for everyday consumption.